Okay, we are recording. Hello, Internet. I am RiddlerRed7, and this is gonna be a response to XStarguy's loop tutorial on how to build SketchUp loops, loop-de-loops for Sonic World without making use of plugins like Curvy Loft, which I make heavy use of in all of my stages. However, his method I feel could be made more streamlined, more easy to do. So I figured out some ways to refine his technique. So what we're gonna do is we're going to repeat exactly what he did with the other time. With He had two types of loops, which is the Green Hill type loop, which is just a box with a loop-de-loop inside of it, and just the loop-de-loop mesh without the box. So first thing we're gonna do is do the Green Hill type loop-de-loop with the box as it's stated. So we're just going to raise this up with the push-pull tool. We're gonna do that for just two sides, and they are not adjacent, as you can see. You can make it so that the height is the same by just raising it up and making it so that the reference is a face. In any case, that's done. What XStarguy did next was like use like the 2-point arc tool to make a half circle. There's an easier way to do that. Just use a circle there, and just extrude out from that. And with that, that was not what I intended, but and extrude out from that. There, we now have ourselves the half pipe thing that XStarguy made. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna select everything on this by triple clicking it, and then select Make Group. Now, making this a group will make it so that as you can see, I drew on this. However, when I move it, it's not affected by it. So groups are not affected by whatever is outside the group. You can do whatever it is to the mesh outside the group, and the group will not react. You need to double click the group to get it to be able to actually edit the group, or you can explode the group, which will make it part of the main mesh group once again. However, we don't want that, so I'm going to press Ctrl Z and undo that. As you can see, I drew a parallelogram connecting the tops of these two quarter pipes. We're going to extrude it upward, and then we are going to delete everything except this face. So what we're going to do is triple click it to select everything. Then there is on the select tool, you can hold Control and Shift to make it so that it deselects faces and lines. So just double click this face and then press delete. There, it's gone. Good. Now we're just gonna extrude this. It doesn't align. It's not aligned. It's not even fully connected to this part. That's fine. That is absolutely fine, because what we are going to do is we're gonna make another circle. Look for the midpoint. And then draw the circle. Yeah, there, and then delete the extra space that we don't need. Now, we're going to use the push-pull tool again, and we are going to delete this. And what we have here is now an arch. This arch is what we're going to use as the top part of our loop. Now, we're going to use the Move tool. When you move this normally, it is locked into a single axis. However, if you press Alt, it will toggle auto fold, which will allow you to just move it wherever. So we're just gonna move it to the side towards this edge. Now, that works. Little advanced thing, you can delete this face, you can delete this face, and then explode this non-make component. Explode this, and then just raise it up. There we have it. We have our Green Hill style loop. Make it more believably a Green Hill style loop by making it slightly shorter. And this is a Green Hill style loop. Look at it. Green Hill style loop. The next thing he did was just doing this without the box shape that this Green Hill style loop has. A way to do this is just by creating this we're just gonna extrude a rectangle. It doesn't have to be that thick. It doesn't have to be too big, but we're gonna make it big for the purposes of being able to see it. And then just make a circle. We're gonna make this circle. However, we have a problem with this circle because if we extrude it like this, we can't see any lines. And we sort of need lines to be able to see it. One solution is to use View, Hidden Geometry, and toggle that on, and we'll be able to see the hidden lines of softened and smooth faces, softened and smooth lines. However, that is not turned on by default, and in case you don't want to turn that on at all, you can just right click this circle and select Explode Curve. Now with the curve exploded, using the push-pull tool will give you this. It is now the segments are now visible. It is not as smooth, however, but the segments are all visible. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to select everything, and then, once again, using the deselect function, holding Control and Shift, we will deselect just this cylinder. However, we also don't want the entire cylinder. We only want a quarter of the cylinder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete a quarter of the cylinder. That's all we need. But how are we going to make a loop with just this quarter of a cylinder? Well, there's the thing. We are going to select this. We're going to select this quarter of a cylinder, except this one last segment, and we are going to use the Move tool and move it slightly to the right. Then we are going to select everything except these last two segments. And then once again, we're going to move it slightly to the right. If possible, with equal measurements to the other one. It shouldn't be like extreme like this. To keep it an equal distance, equal measurement to the other one, you can have it, as you can see, the Move tool says along red axis. Holding Shift while this is turned on will lock the movement along the red axis, allowing you to use points of references to move your objects around. So we moved it so that it is an equal distance. So both of these moved to the left an equal distance. So we're just gonna do that for all of them. And there we have it. We have a quarter of a loop. But it's just a quarter. We need all of a loop. So what we're gonna do, we are going to select it and select everything, click it with the Move tool, and as you can see, I'm moving this object, right? However, if I press Control, I am able to duplicate this. I'm able to duplicate this while at the same time moving it. So move it to this point, make sure that it connects. However, it is not connected in the correct manner. It is not rotated in the correct manner. So we are just going to rotate it by 90 degrees. We're going to repeat that process of copying and moving, and then rotate it, this time 180 degrees. And there we have it. We have ourselves the loop mesh. And you want it to be smooth, just click everything and change angles between normals. There you go. We have succeeded. Another way to do this, it's not, and as you can see, it's not really it's literally just a face, though. It's not a mesh. It's just the surface. So we will want to we will want to make a we'll want to make we will want to make it more substantial than just this paper thin loop-de-loop. So what we can do is, once again, we can make this into a group so that interacting with it from the outside does not change it. So what we're going to do, we're just going to copy this group. It's going to be in the same location. However, we're going to select the scale tool. Holding control with the scale tool, we are going to make it slightly taller and slightly fatter. Now we just select both groups and explode them. After that, you're gonna have to manually do this yourself, because that's really the only way you're gonna be able to do. That's really going to be the only way you're going to be able to do this. Do this whole what do you call that? Do this whole wall thing without making use of plugins. And if you're gonna make use of plugins to do this part, you'll just, if you're gonna make use of plugins to do just this part, you might as well just use plugins to make a loop yourself, because it's so much easier with plugins, guys. Just here's what it is with plugins. I'll show you guys. With plugins, it's as easy as just doing this. Move it, move it, move it. With plugins, it's as easy as just doing this. And here's the thing. I just click Curvy Loft. Just click them in the correct order. And there we go. We have a loop-de-loop. Change the spline method to fit more. And there. This is a loop-de-loop. See? Loop-de-loop. Looks smoother. Well, not quite as smooth. It doesn't look quite as smooth, but that's because I did it lazily. However, it's a lot faster. But whatever. Doesn't really matter.